So you can see the kind of the aftermath of what the RX11 product did for our install. I've got Jim Dufault here today from Nu Calgon.
Yes.
And he's brought a handful of products along with him. So he's going to kind of take a deep dive for us and talk about not only the product, but then we're going to go out in the lab and he's got a demo unit he's going to show us.
Yes.
Jim, welcome.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
You saw kind of what we're doing with our Bosch install.
Yes.
Can you kind of give us a deep dive into this product?
Sure.
And all the benefits of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So RX11 is really unique. It's an azeotrope, number one, and what that basically means is that all the components of this, the solvents and the emulsifiers, are all going to boil off at the same time when you do draw that vacuum.
Okay.
This is based on a DuPont Virtual technology, which means it's an HCF, so it's safe for the ozone, safe for the environment. The biggest thing with RX11 versus our competitors is it's non-flammable.
Okay.
So A2L ready.
Ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's ready to go. But what this does beautifully is it's going to break down, particularly after a burnout like what we just saw.
Sure.
It's going to break down and emulsify that carbon that's in there. It's going to emulsify the oil. And that just means it's going to really liquefy it, make it runny enough so that we can blow it out with nitrogen. To purge out that system. This boils off beautifully. You never have to worry about those low sides. The lower parts of that line set with it, pooling in there maybe after you've purged it with nitrogen.
Yeah.
This is going to boil off wonderfully. There's not going to be anything left, including residue. Some of our competitors will leave a residue behind inside that line set as well. It's going to drive out moisture and acid and anything that's in that line set that is really not going to give that new compressor an opportunity to, for a long life. So
you saw our bucket.
Yes.
That was the aftermath of putting through. It was a little bit smaller can than that one. What size do we have?
So this is a 2-pound can.
Okay.
We do a 1-pound can, 2-pound can, then we also do a 13-pound and a 26-pound tank for those larger projects. If you've got a 50-ton or 75-ton rooftop unit, you don't want to be going 2-pound can, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that'll take you all day.
Or multiple change outs at maybe an apartment complex or something like that, where you need a lot more. So.
And what's the recommended line set size for each pound?
So what you're looking at really is you're going to be with the 1-pound can, you're probably going to get 1 to maybe 3 line sets out of that. You're looking at somewhere around probably 2 to 4, maybe 5 line set changes out of the 2-pound can. And so we actually have on our website, we have an RX11 tool, and it's in our drop down on our resources, and it's basically you just go in, you put in the size of the line set, the diameter of the line set, and the length of the line set, and it's going to recommend approximately how much RX11 you're going to need to do that job.
Well, that's helpful.
Yep, very helpful. Yeah,
awesome. Okay, and so we're going to go out here in the lab, and you have a demo unit.
Yeah, we call it our demo dog. So obviously the big thing is there's folks out there that say, well, nitrogen only is all that I use. I don't want to introduce anything else into the line set. And we actually are able to, through this tubing that I have, see what's going on inside that line set, because nitrogen at the end of the day just does not do the job. It's not able to break that oil and carbon and acids and down, and moisture as well to get that out of the line set. I equate it to this. Would you change the engine in your car? If your car engine blew up and you needed to replace your car engine, would you take the oil out of that blown up car engine, set it aside, and then put it into your new car engine?
Yeah, probably not.
Nobody would. Right? Nobody would recommend doing that. Well, if you don't flush out with RX11 and flush that line set out, that's really what you're doing. That carbon and acid and moisture that's still in that line set's going to get into that brand new compressor. And as we just saw, they're on their 5th or 6th?
Sixth. That's actually my house. We've known, and usually it goes out every July. So that was the 6th one.
So you're setting up that homeowner for a failure
every time.
Plain and simple, every single time. And you're a 6-time award winner of that. So, but let's go out into the lab, and we can see what's actually going on inside a line set.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so we're here in the lab. Jim's brought in the demo unit. Kind of walk us through what we're going to see happen here.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is, and for time purposes, I've already gone ahead and I've injected in some oil from a burnout that you can see here. Some POE oil. And what we're going to do is, first off, we're going to try to flush that out with nitrogen. There are folks out there that think that I can just flush the system with nitrogen and that's going to actually take care of everything that's in there. What's nice with this clear tubing is we can watch and we can see what's actually happening inside the line set. that when we do that.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I've already got my nitrogen set up. I've got 120 psi, and so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to inject that and see what happens with that oil.
Looks like it's starting to lose a little bit of steam there.
Yeah. So really all we're doing is we're smearing the inside of the line set with that oil. And I put a lot of oil in there so that you could see it. And so that's all it's done, is it's just basically, it's just smearing it on the inside. And so when you draw that vacuum,
it's making it worse.
Yeah, so when you draw that vacuum, that's staying in there. That's not coming out of that system. So now what we can do is we can take our RX11, and again, this is an incredible solvent and emulsifier, and that's going to break that down and liquefy all of that oil, make it runny, and so that we can then go back through with nitrogen and purge that out of the system.
Gotcha.
So if you just hold that can for a second.
I saw it get a little wild there for a minute.
Yep, exactly. So, and just get my hand out of the way here.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's clearing up early on right there.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing is, and we don't even have to go all the way through because I'm making a little bit of a mess here, but you can see where it's really cleaned that tubing out on the inside really well. But now we can go back with that nitrogen. Got it here handy. And now we can push that and basically purge that line set out.
Wow.
And clean that out completely. So moisture, acid, carbon, anything else that's inside that line set.
Now in your drop bucket.
It's going into the little drop bucket down here. Now of course what you're going to do afterwards is you're going to cap it, you're going to go ahead and draw that vacuum. The RX11 is going to boil off. It'll boil off in atmosphere, meaning just outside at 106 degrees. So obviously if you're dumping any of this onto the pavement in Arizona in 110 degrees, it's going to instantaneously boil.
It'll be gone.
But under a vacuum, this will boil at negative 37 degrees.
Okay.
So there's not going to be anything left in this line set for RX11. So even in those low areas, a lot of folks think it's like a P-trap where it's going to settle into the bottom of that, the lower ends, and it's not going to come out. This is absolutely going to come out in a vacuum the minute you begin to draw a vacuum with this. And again, being an azeotrope, all the chemicals, the solvents, and the emulsifiers that are in RX11, they're going to boil off at the same time, same temperature. So we're not constantly having to continuing the vacuum to get all of that out.
Yeah, that went pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, it does a really nice job.
And then so what's your distance here that you have wrapped?
This is 10 feet.
Okay.
So 10 feet, I'm really only going to need probably 5 to 10 seconds worth of RX11 into that type of a line set with a 3/4 inch tubing. So, but again, that resource that we have on our website, that's going to help you to determine just how much RX11 you're going to need.
Sure.
You don't need to, theoretically, you don't need to bring it all the way out to the end. We recommend crimping the end of the line set.
Okay.
That kind of creates a little bit of a back pressure, which helps that to agitate on the inside.
Yeah.
And to do the best job possible, obviously.
Sure.
And purging with nitrogen gets it all out of the system. So.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the product. It worked great on our project, and we appreciate you coming out today and
happy to
really taking a deep dive for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.